Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and just checking in on you for the Thursday afternoon, Monday morning podcast that I'm doing on Friday, just to fuck with all you drug users out there. It's payday, or it's the day after payday. You go out and blow it, get some whores, a little bit of blow or whatever. So you're probably breaking my balls saying, why am I a day late and $1 short? I am not $1 short. I'm sitting here in the All Things Comedy Studio with the one and only star of Last Man on Earth, Mr. Will Forte.
Hello, Bill.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing great.
It's a beyond a thrill.
So I screwed up the schedule, and this should have been Thursday?
No, not at all.
This is all right.
I mean, I would have done Thursday if you weren't on it, but people understand that I'm going to wait.
Oh,
for someone like, yeah, absolutely. No, I'll tell you, if it was like a reality show star, I'd just be like, it's not going to work out. We're going to have to reschedule for another Thursday. But no, absolutely, man. I was psyched. I finally ran into you. I've been such a fan for so long. I ran into you at the night of Too Many Stars.
Yes.
There was too many stars there, Will. And I got to watch you sing the song Wanted Dead Alive with Bon Jovi.
That was very exciting.
You crushed it.
Oh, my God.
Just crushed. Screaming Wanted, though.
Crushed in the bad way. I could have, but that was what we were supposed to do. We were supposed to ruin his song.
Now, wasn't the thing was they didn't want you to wear the hat because he didn't want like Richie Sambora to make it seem like you're making fun of.
Yeah,
him.
I guess. I think there was some word on that. There was a hat that we ended up not going with. It just made me look even goofier.
Dude, I got to tell you, one of my favorite things about you is your facial expressions. I've never seen like the desperation, like the characters you do, the faces that you make, like MacGruber or on your new hit show there, Last Man Standing, like the looks that you come up with, like
it's called The Last Man on Earth, not Last Man Standing.
Sorry, Last Man on Earth. You know, I'm thinking Last.
No, my mom does it. My mom does that.
Did I say that twice?
No. You said it. You said it right once. And Last Man Standing. I mean, as long as you get Last Man,
This is why I never have guests. What an asshole! I'm gonna write it down so I don't fuck it up. Last Man. I just wrote standing and I had to cross it out.
But I am basically the last man standing. Well, for the first couple episodes, no spoilers.
Yeah. There's gonna be a bunch of spoilers because I love the show and whatever. Shut it off. I don't give a fuck. It's a great show and I want to talk about it because I'm a fan. First of all, how did you come?
Thank you, though. The look of desperation that you mentioned is something that I've basically workshopped my whole life because I've basically been a kind of a desperate individual, and it's these looks come very naturally to me.
How so desperate?
I don't know, just desperate for. I'm a little OCD and a little everything, kind of desperate for.
Do you fix
for acceptance?
Okay.
I would say that's probably I used to have a real hard time like leaving a party unless I knew that I had said goodbye to everybody. It took me forever to, it's like
what
that
were you
kind
worried
of thing.
About?
I don't know. I didn't want people to be offended that I didn't say goodbye to them or something like that. And then you just learn, oh, that's right. When somebody else leaves without saying bye to me and I'm friends with them, I don't think that our friendship is over. It's all fine. I don't know.
So would you find yourself laying in bed at 3 a.m, buzz going, oh, fuck, I didn't say goodbye to Mike.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I would make a special call the next day. Hey, sorry I didn't get to say bye to you. I'm not joking.
Where do you think that came from?
I don't know. Probably my mom, who's a very, very nice person, and my sister.
Yeah, and you seem really like down to earth. How the hell did you end up in this fucked up business? You just seem like you're just like me. I met you within 2 seconds. I'm like, this guy's a sweetheart.
Oh,
look at you. You're blushing.
Well, I don't know. It's weird because there are a couple ways into it, and a lot of the popular theory is that people work out their aggression and their horrible childhoods up on stage and stuff. And mine was a different. I mean, we all got problems, but mine. I had a supportive family. I had a great upbringing.
Was Orville a tough name growing up?
It was, but I always went by Will.
Oh, you did?
Well, that's not true. I went by Billy for like 5 years, and then I got teased because of Billie Jean King. And so I said, I changed it. I came home one day and just changed it to Will.
Why Billie Jean King? Were you playing tennis at the time?
No, but just like, she was very popular back then. I'm 44, so I was,
right.
It was probably 1975, and she was at the height of her tennis powers.
Wait, so you were born in 1970, by 75, so you're 5 years old, and the kids in your grade are like up on the women's movement?
It was a big tennis community. Yeah. This is Northern California.
Oh, all right.
It was,
So did you made a conscious choice to switch from Billy to Will?
Yes.
Because they were calling you Billie Jean King.
Yeah. It has nothing, yeah. That was it. It's not
okay. All right.
It's a fact. It's not a great story. It's just a fact.
Okay, I was just I find it bizarre that kids at 5 years of age knew who the hell she was. Did you hear that shit? Did you hear that shit was rigged?
What was rigged?
I think literally Bobby Riggs.
The Bobby Riggs. Oh,
guy's last name was Riggs.
An unintentional pun, or was it a pun?
I don't know what it was, but I'm sure somebody's cringing. But like, he wasn't like, he could have kicked her ass, and he didn't. He like bet on her. Are you serious? Well, I mean, this could be like people who hate women so much are actually creating this theory on the internet, or it actually happened. I hope it happened not out of some slamming women shit, just out of some degenerate gambler kind of thing. Like if he was like in deep and they were going to break his legs or something like that. And I tell you something right now, whatever the fuck his name is, Bobby, you got to lose. You got to lose to Billy. Oh, this is fucking, we're going to kill you or something.
I don't know. I think she might have beat him fair and square. She was pretty damn good. I mean,
the guy was like 60.
I was named after her for like 5 years, so I got to stick up for her. For that section.
She should have destroyed him. That thing actually bugged me. I hate how women thought that was like a victory. It's like, what, you beat an old man? You had the champion of your sex playing this old man. I mean, at some point, right?
Bill, I'm staying out of this one. This is between you and your God.
All right. Northern California, you guys are, I guess, really nice people. So, anyway,
it is. I will say that a lot of really nice people up there. It's
no meth, no heroin.
There's probably like, it's creeping in everywhere. But I didn't see a lot of it. I didn't see a lot of meth and heroin. Am I crazy? Was meth and heroin, was that just kind of...
Heroin was over and meth wasn't around when we were kids.
Yeah.
I think I'm actually going to be doing a gig in Eureka, California.
Oh, really?
Up. And
that's way north, right?
I was excited about that. And then somebody, I don't know if they just... you never know with the internet. Like, they just sit there and they just constantly just go the negative route on everything. But they were saying that it was a little shady. I'm like, how could that place be shady? It's nestled up there in the redwood forest. Like, I would think people would just be, I don't know, leaving pies on the windowsill. Like,
well, I mean, Albuquerque. That was where we made MacGruber, and that's obviously where Breaking Bad was set, and so there's presumably a huge meth situation up there, and there are a lot of great things about Albuquerque. So I think you're going to find some very, very big positives in Eureka. It must be, I assume, a lot of history of the gold rush.
Can I please drive cross country with you, and I'll just keep going negative, and you'll be like, you know what, I think Oklahoma City is going to have some surprisingly mom and pop kind of places. I knew when I watched your show, I was saying to my wife, I go, this looks like this looks like where they shot Breaking Bad. And I'm just going, I know it's a desert, but for some reason it looked familiar a little bit, some of the landscape, and she, for some reason, thought it was like in Arizona or something. So that makes me feel good.
Wait, no. Last Man on Earth is Arizona, but we shoot it in Chatsworth. But MacGruber was Albuquerque.
Oh, MacGruber was?
Yeah.
All right, Jesus. How bad am I fucking this up already?
You are doing great, and I do want to drive cross country with you. That sounds really cool.
I have to ask you, after years of being in this business and bringing in not even remotely as crazy an idea as what you have, with Last Man on Earth. Like, how the hell did you not only get that on the air, how did you get that on, like, Fox? I mean, I should preface this for people who haven't seen it. It's basically the post-apocalyptic, and as far as you know, your character is the last person on Earth and doing all this crazy shit that you would do when you were by yourself. How did you I'll
tell you,
come up with it?
It was... Chris Miller and Phil Lord are a huge reason for it, because they're the guys who did the Lego Movie and 2122 Jump Street, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and we've been buddies for years. So they asked me if I wanted to write something with them, and God, they are having such amazing success right now that that people are lining up to work with them. So I just got in at the right time, and we all came up with this idea together.
How long did it take you to get to that? Because usually it's probably like, all right, where'd you grow up? What was your childhood like? And they try to mine that type of thing. Like, how do you go from the usual way? Like, because, dude, this is like one of the most original ideas for a show I've seen in a long time.
Oh, God, thank you. We sat around for about 3 days. And, just 3 full days. We brought up The Last Man on Earth kind of early in the process and just went right by it. I don't know. It didn't seem right to us. And then we had settled on this other show idea. It was about Val Kilmer used to he stayed with me for a while because we became buddies through MacGruber, and then he normally,
this is in real life.
This is in real life.
How did he end up staying with you?
He stayed with me because he has a place in New Mexico, but he wanted he likes to have a place in Malibu as well. Well, he was leaving this one place and wanted to look for another place, so he just needed a place to stay for what I thought was a couple days. And he just couldn't find the right place, so it ended up being several months. So that was what we were going to write the show about. It was going to be kind of a fictional, kind of partly fact.
Did it get weird at some point where you're like, wow, I got to tell Val Kilmer to, hey, man, it's such a weird thing. Like, it's not like he's a bum. It's like, dude, can you hurry up and find a mansion?
No, it was
overlooking the ocean.
I'll tell you, it was the best couple months of my life. It was so much fun. He's like a member of the family, so it's
he's hilarious too. Like, remember he's Top Secret? Remember that way back
best.
in the day?
Oh my God, his Doc Holliday, Wyatt Earp, from Tombstone. Excuse me. Oh man, he's the best. He's so. Have you met him?
No.
Oh,
I never met him, but I
gotta
just
have him on your show. He is so wonderful.
So he stayed with you for 3 months?
And so smart, and he was there for 3 months. So we were going to write something about that. And I don't know, for some reason we just couldn't figure out because there were a bunch of really fun things that happened in real life. But then it was like, what's that blend of fact and fiction, and how does it? So we were a little mixed up with that. And right as we were going to figure it out, what's that?
So they were probably going to go with the comedy thing, is rather than, because you can't get 5 years into this guy crashes with me. We had a great time. It's the best time of my life. They probably were going to try to go the route that the guy was annoying you when they were doing the show.
Because we were just going to base it on our own characters, because it was kind of like an Odd Couple in a way, but an Odd Couple in which both people are kind of the Oscars. Kind of mixtures of Oscars and Felixes. He's the best, but it's it just there's some that actually it's very funny because we thought about while he was staying with me, I was watching The Amazing Race. That was I was really into that show at the time. I still like it, but I just don't watch it that much anymore. But he thought I was an idiot for watching it, and then I got him hooked on it. Or I don't know, hooked is the wrong word. Fascinated.
You got sucked into it. He was
fascinated. So we, for a short period of time, were planning to try to get on The Amazing Race together.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
We both called our agents, and they were like, "No way you're doing this. There is no way you." I still think it would have been. It would have been
great.
Yeah, I still hold out hope that we'll do it someday.
I had an idea a long time ago. This good friend of mine, one of the best comedians I ever saw, Patrice O'Neill, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we were, he was crashing with me during this pilot season, and we were flipping through the channels, and Judge Judy was on, and she was just sitting there screaming and yelling and berating people and everything. It was just fucking annoying, like just her whole, like, I don't know, it's almost like just grandstanding to get ratings, and came up with this idea. I was trying to convince him to do it. I was saying, listen, either you sue me or I sue you. Okay, and we'll pay each other, and then when the dust settles, I'll just give you the money back, or you give me my money back in cash. Nobody knows, right? And the whole thing was so we could get on that show, and then all we would do was go on there and try to see how mad we could make her. And just when she told us to shut up, you keep interrupting her, going, lady, 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 just anything just to get into her ego. And I just felt, because like so much of it just seemed like a cartoon to me, that she was yelling just to yell. And also there was so many like mouth-breathing morons that they had on the show that she was always going to seem super intelligent. So I felt if we went on, then we played, the dumber we played it, the more her showbiz sense would kick in, like, oh, this is comedy gold.
Yeah.
And then once we got her mad, then you sort of start insulting her and just seeing if we could just make her lose her
That would have
mind.
been great. Were you guys at that time? Could you
Nobody
have gone
knew.
under
Nobody
the
knew
radar?
nobody knew who
that
we
would
were.
have been perfect.
Nobody knew who. Maybe no, I don't think so. I was trying to think.
You couldn't do that anymore.
He did a because now the internet, they'd look up, they find out who you were.
Yeah.
But I think they'd find out after they aired it, and then they'd never air it again. I don't know, man. I would have. I didn't watch The American Race, but if I saw the two of you on there, I would definitely watch it. They ought to have a celebrity one. No, fuck that.
Mike White was on there once. Did you know that? He was on there with his dad. That was one of my favorite things, like seeing him with his dad. It was that they had such a sweet relationship.
Oh, they didn't fight or anything?
They didn't really. They were very supportive of each other, and Mike was because his God, I don't remember everything, but I remember his dad was not as fast as him, but Mike was incredibly patient, and they were great. It was just so much fun watching them, and I thought, God, I want to go on The Amazing Race with my dad or Val Kilmer.
Let me ask you this: with your nice, laid-back vibe, how did you first react to New York when you went to New York during your? Did you go to New York first and then get on SNL, or did you have like other gigs brought you there?
I went there for SNL, but it wasn't my first time I was there. I wrote for Letterman for about 9 months in 97, 98. It was my first job ever was the Jenny McCarthy sketch show on MTV, and then I got a chance to write at Letterman right after that job. And it was terrifying. Like Letterman's my, him.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Steve Martin.
That guy still has like a
SNL
scary vibe.
Those are, the Peter Sellers. Those are my four. Monty Python. But like Letterman is one of my one of the things that really shaped my comedy. And so to work at that show was really crazy, but terrifying, and I sucked at it. I was not good.
Oh, you did? What were you doing, monologues, or you were writing sketch pieces?
I was doing sketch pieces and writing top tens and stuff like that. And it was such an honor to be there. But like I wish that I had a little more experience before I went there. And it was so tough because then these guys, I was probably 27 at the time.
Yeah,
and then the guys who came in right after me. Were coming straight from college. I think they were 22, and they were doing amazingly well there, and it was super easy for them, their first job out of school. And they were the guys who went on to create How I Met Your Mother. Carter Bays and Craig Thomas.
People just they're born with that gift to be. I can't. I suck at that. I tried writing for the ESPYs a couple years in a row, and I just never wrote like that.
Did you have to do the patter stuff? When they go up to the, to announce awards?
No.
You got to. That's the worst.
Louis C.K. talked about that on Opie and Anthony, was saying that, like, what the pattern that they come up with, believe it or not, that's the best you can do. You write them something cute, you do it, you get in, you get out, and that's it. I never had to do that. I had to do, like, monologue jokes, but, like, I just never had written from that, like, okay, Bill, we need some volleyball jokes. And you're just sitting there going, all right, volleyball. And you're just staring at that blank page. I just felt like I was back in high school again. It's just, I've just always written from like, that bugs me. I'm going to talk about that. But now all of a sudden you're like writing for somebody else. Or like, it's a good joke, but it's not really in his style.
Yeah.
It's too mean-spirited. I got a lot of that. And like, it was still a great experience, but just trying to do, like, I had already respected writers, but to actually have had a couple of those jobs. It was. I quickly realized I was like, this is not for me.
Yeah,
this is not something.
When you get an idea, do you write it down on? Like I used to have these notepads, and how do you remember your ideas?
That's how
ideas.
That's how I used to do it. I used to back in the day. I was working in a dental office with my dad, and these little manila envelopes that you'd put the X-rays in. After I take an X-ray, pour up a model of some shit, right? And I used to just write them down. I used to write, but I would be writing out the whole idea. Yeah. And hoping that, didn't want to lose any of it. Yeah. And then I tried to transfer it to a notebook, and then it just became those little manila things. Then it just became like one word. And now it's just like occasionally I'll type it into my phone. Yeah. But I kind of just, I don't know. I just see something, I go, I'm talking about that. And then if I remember, I go on stage and I talk about it. And if I forget,
oh my God,
I let it go.
I want to look at I think I have like a little section in my phone.
Oh, I got all kinds of shit in here. Let me see what you got.
Okay. No, I think
Did you just write? You just write one word?
No, I wrote bad jokes. These are. I wanted to remember bad jokes. These are so. Oh my God! Here, I'll throw a couple of these out. I have a series of me and my buddy have these dumb who's on first type jokes, but they involve like, for instance, a Vanagon. If I see a Vanagon, I say, "Oh my God, look!" I used to have a Vanagon. Wait, is that it? Did you ever? Wait, I used to have a Vanagon. This is already awful. This is why it's in the bad jokes section. I used to have a Vanagon. Oh, that's crazy. I don't remember you having a van in the first place. No, I never had a van. But you said you had a Vanagon. No, yes. But you never had a van in the first place? You never. No. It's really bad. So then I wrote down different cardigan we could do it with. Greg Abigan. Toboggan. Okay, that's horrible. Then I have, no matter what speed you're going, you're always going this fast when you're going through an airport. Terminal velocity. That's not even a joke.
Jesus.
That's just, yeah. I said, birdseed. It's so overrated. Know what I think about birdseed? It's for the birds.
You know what this is reminding me of?
Could I do stand-up? I could, right?
Oh, yeah.
I have down here, it just says...
I know, the comics would be in the back laughing at this.
This is the worst. It says, ricotta, be kidding me. Like ricotta cheese. Yeah.
I like,
here's this one's great. Oh, here are two that are great. I like Dublin, but there's one place I like slightly more. Triplin. Boom.
Bam. Applause break.
Yeah, I go to this great dive bar. Greg Louganis is there all the time.
Okay, I actually like that one. Those are the kind of jokes I send to my wife just to annoy her. I sent her one the other day. I said, what did the fashionista say to her son? I'm proud of you. Like Prada shoes. Just to watch her fucking groan and send these things back. They're horrific. But I don't
think any of these are good. They're
supposed to be bad.
But I don't have a thing in here that says good jokes. These are just, I only like remembering the bad ones.
I got in my phone right here. Kanye West, and then it says dictator. Even I, as a white dude, have unfulfilled dreams as a dictator. I don't even know what that means. And then cruise ships.
Cruise ships.
No, there's this thing that I'm doing that if I took over the world, my ethnic cleansing would be sinking cruise ships. So it wouldn't be race or religious based. Okay. It would all be based on people killing people who are dumb enough to think going on a cruise is a good idea. So that's something that I'm working on.
there's the Norwalk virus. That kind of takes care of some of that, right?
Oh, it's got to happen. Yeah. I was going to ask you, doing the Last Man on Earth, with creating that thing, were you guys there's got to be somebody in there's got to be a little bit of a conspiracy theorist or somebody paying attention to the fearful talks about global warming. Like you see this shit on the internet saying California's going to be out of the water in a year. And you're just like, why am I still paying my mortgage?
Yeah. I get terrified by that stuff. The new one, I've always been scared of earthquakes, but the one that I keep hearing about is like super volcano stuff.
I haven't even heard of that one. What's that one?
Apparently there are a couple gigantic volcanoes that blow every couple 100 years, and there's one somewhere close to us that's way overdue. And so we're worried about these earthquakes, but there's going to be a super volcano that's going to lava.
I just can't wrap my head around that could ever happen to me. I just feel like
you're going to be in France at the time. I know you're going to be in France. You're going to be safe.
Why?
Because I just know you're going to survive this.
How do you know I'm going to be in France?
Because I just have this feeling. I have The Shining.
I'll tell you how fucked up that is. I was actually talking to my wife about an exit strategy out of this business because nobody seems to ever work on it.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to get out of it gracefully?
Yeah.
How are you going to walk away? Like the way Seinfeld did. I'm not saying he's out of the business, but the way he had that great show, it fucking killed. And like, hey, what do you do now? What do you do now? I said, I don't know. Maybe do some stand-up. Yeah. And he just chilled until he came up with the next idea, the comedians in cars, things like, or like Johnny Carson or Flip Wilson. You get your money. Like, that's the hardcore one. Or Marvin Hagler.
Yeah.
You know, really? I didn't beat Sugar Ray Leonard? Go fuck yourselves. And he moves to Italy and starts making like MacGruber type movies over there. So I was thinking, I'm 23 years in. I'm 46, going to be 47. In another 23 years, I'll be 69, 70. I'm thinking that's a good, possibly, time to just walk.
At 70?
And 70. I either walk and it's either I'm going to buy a place in Paris, sell all my shit, live there and finally become bilingual right before I croak, or Alabama. I said, I'm not joking either.
Why Alabama?
I like it there. I actually love the South. I like Wyoming. All those fucking states everybody shits on. I love them.
No,
those
oh my God. You know, I've just
the
never...
Rust Belt. I love all of those places.
That's not true. I drove through Alabama, but it was late at night. I was driving from New Orleans into Texas, and so I don't know Alabama too well. But God, I love Florida. I love New Orleans. No, I was going from New Orleans. Excuse me, from Florida to New Orleans. Yeah, sorry.
I didn't want to be the road comic.
No, I figured it out. Though.
Absolutely. Actually, you would not go through Alabama.
Well, I'm sorry, Bill. I'm sorry. Where in Alabama do you think you would wind up? Like Tuscaloosa, college.
Yeah, I would definitely.
That's where Alabama is, right?
Yeah,
that's where. Okay,
I would make a decision if I was going to be an Auburn or an Alabama fan. And at this point, just because I've been into LSU, like I just got into them, you know, watching their crazy coach there. It's just so much fun rooting against Alabama. And also, like, I mean, people know I'm fucking around, but like I have like this just based on nothing, like sort of phony hatred for Alabama. I don't like the Crimson Tide. So whenever they have a big game, I always write Alabama, the dream ends tonight, because like their dreams always win the championship. It's just stupid, and then it really annoys people. So I think I would go. Maybe I'd be an Auburn fan, but I would have to live up in Crimson Tide country, because it'd be no fun to be an Auburn fan around a bunch of Auburn fans. This is the stand-up comic in me. Like, where's the fun in that? Let's go annoy people. And
I think it's it's natural, and I'm not trying to offend Crimson Tide fans either, but like they're just such a powerhouse. You always gotta, unless you are born into that, you have to. It's kind of like rooting against the Yankees. You have to root against the Yankees. You know, I'm an A's fan. So that the Yankees are a natural enemy, and I'm a Bruins fan. I went to UCLA, and so I got to be against Alabama. They're just they're so good. They're too good.
Yeah. No, it's actually, I guess you shouldn't get mad. But
my Bruins are coming. They're coming.
Oh yeah. In what? Football?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How'd you guys do last year? I was on the road for the whole freaking
season. We did all right. We did pretty well. We were like 10-3, I think.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's great. You guys were like flatlining there for a good 10 years.
I mean, we have we had a couple. We had some tight games in the beginning, and then we really started getting it together. And then we had a couple tricky ones against Oregon's so good, and that was a tough one.
Those guys with their stupid uniforms, they're ruining football.
I gotta say,
not because the uniforms are bad.
Yeah.
It's because everybody's now trying to come up with a cool uniform, and they're just not able to pull it off. It's like they're Fonzie. Everybody else needs to just fucking beat Potsy.
Wait, how do you
Mouth.
feel about? Is it Eastern Washington that has, or like Boise State? The color,
the blue turf.
Crazy. They have the blue, and Eastern Washington has that crazy red.
I think it's desperate moves by schools that want to get noticed, but it worked because now Boise is actually becoming somewhat of a powerhouse. I mean, I don't know, they kind of have the up and down, but I also think that once they limited the amount of scholarships, all of a sudden, Appalachian State beats Michigan. That would never happen back in the day. So I don't know, but I you know what I realized with my ADD, I never got around to it. So coming up with the Last Man on Earth when so we were messed with the Val Kilmer thing. Sorry.
Oh my God, no, that's a good memory right there.
No, you know what it is? It's I read all the tweets when people shit on me, so I have their criticisms like in my head. They're not necessarily bad. They're like, dude, he was fucking about ready to say the thing, and then you interrupted. So
no, this is the most boring part of it. We just had all these lingering questions, and we were about to go, and then I would be left to kind of figure out a route to this Val and Will show, and then we just on the way out, Chris Miller's getting his jacket on, and then I just said, let's look at this Last Man on Earth thing one more time. And we just a tiny adjustment was made, and it just all started pouring out. So it was, we got really excited about it. We never thought that it would be a show for Fox. It definitely, as we were thinking it up, it seemed like it was way more of a cable type tone.
Yeah, AMC, FX, FXX, or whatever they got now.
So we pitched it to a bunch of people, half of them cable, half of them network, and we really were just doing
what was the response?
The network pitches as a courtesy, because we thought never would any of them be interested. The response was very good. It was we had a lot of opportunities, but you go in there and you're partnered up with the studio, which was 20th, and they kind of help you decide where to do it, and they Fox was very interested, and they have a lot of history, 20th and Fox, obviously. So it was decided that was where we'd try to do it. And I got to be honest, I was a little nervous at first because, I like to swear and I like dirty situations.
I was going to say, like, when you guys were pitching that, did you guys pitch the margarita pool and the toilet pool? And or did you come up with that afterwards?
That was part of writing the pilot. That was part of writing the pilot. That it was basically just the storyline of this guy's all alone, doesn't know what to do, and eventually all he's hoping for is to see any other human, and then finally another human comes into the picture, and they just don't get along at all. And
you finally meet a woman, you think, and then it just becomes this. Played by the great Kristen Schaal. She's so unbelievable on that. And I'm psyched as a comedian to see another comic, not only get she's killing it on the acting thing. Because there is sort of a stereotype, sometimes about can comedians act or whatever. So she's doing us all a huge favor with.
She's great. And she, in the ones that haven't been aired yet, she's asked to do a lot of, because she's so funny and has always very easily accessed that, but this is like she is asked to do some very tough things where she's like still supposed to be this fun, crazy character we've created, but also do like some kind of emotional things, and she's just perfect at it. She's a great actress. So
I have to say,
for people to see that.
Your relationship, your guys' relationship is driving me nuts on the show. I'm like yelling at the TV going, just dump her. Just, you can't let her move in. And I'm just watching you getting sucked into this relationship. And like, I would just be like, it's better off to be alone. There's got to be somebody else out there. And like, who gives a shit if she moves in with you? Just go steal another house down the street. Just grab your shit and go down there. And, I can't tell you enough about that. I just love, like, all this shit you were doing when you were by yourself, like driving your truck into stuff and bowling balls into fish tanks. It's just like, I mean, I would do that, but I also
I would do that too. That's, we would just think up things that we would actually do ourselves.
Yeah, find a fireworks store and just come up with, you turn into like an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
But what I liked with the Carol character, Kristen Schaal's character, how she still had morals. So as annoying and nagging as she is, like there's something that you still have at the core of her. She's like a really good person.
Oh yeah, she's great. She's that's the thing, is that because I'm the last man on earth and we have to start on me, we have to kind of create this sympathetic character. But as the show goes on, you realize like she's the real good person here, and
right.
Like, and so your allegiances are constantly shifting. So we're trying to to walk that tightrope, and I don't know if I've gotten too far away from it because we don't want people to hate me forever. But
your character's hilarious. You had your morals is when you didn't leave Todd in the desert, which was one of the way you guys shot that, where you were like, I'm not going to try to get away whatever you trick.
Oh no, we've already shown it. If people haven't seen it, they shame on you. You should have seen it. You got to stay up to date, or you're going to get spoilers released.
Exactly. But how you just drop him off, and I just love the look on his face where he's such a good guy. It doesn't register that you would leave him out there, and he's in his size, his weight, middle of nowhere, like 3-hour drive. He's going to die, and you're just driving away, and then you have to screaming like, I can't do this. This is morally wrong. You keep backing up and then going, no, fuck it. I'm totally butchering this. The way you guys shot that thing.
Oh my God, that was Peter Atencio, the guy who directs all the Key and Peele stuff. He did that episode.
Oh wow,
He's so good. Do you know him? You would like him. You would like him.
I don't know if I ever met him. I'm the worst, dude. Like I act when they let me. So a couple times a year I'll get a gig and I'll meet all these cool people, and then I'm just back out on the road doing my stupid little act.
How many days would you say you're on the road?
Not enough. No,
none.
I love it. I absolutely fucking love it. I love being a comic. So I don't know. At least half the year. Maybe not. No. Maybe not as not. But it's not bad. I mean, every other week I work. I mean, that's a joke compared to back in the day when I had a job and I had to be there every fucking Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I mean, no wonder people like there's no the only reason for me to become an alcoholic is just the downtime, just out of boredom, which is a pathetic reason.
We got to keep you busy.
It's a pathetic reason to be an alcoholic, but like anybody who's in the working world, I totally get it.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just the buildup, the bullshit.
I used to be a smoker, and that was it was the same deal. It was like, it would either be when I'm really, really stressed, I would smoke, or when I'm just really bored. So I just had to be kind of busy but unstressed to not smoke.
No, I just remember by like Tuesday. I always thought Tuesday dragged worse than Monday. Monday, it was just, you were so bleary-eyed from the weekend before you knew it, the roach coat showed up or it was lunchtime. But like Tuesday was just like, that's when reality set in. You didn't drink the night before. You're fucking sober, and you're just sitting there going, oh my, this is it. This is where I'm working.
You're tired from Monday, but you still have enough of the rest of the week that it sucks. You're not like, once you get to Wednesday, it's like, okay, only 2 more days. It's close
Tuesday
to the
and
weekend.
Wednesday were the worst for me, and then Thursday you got your check and you got hope. It was the first time you had hope, and then Friday felt like the last day of school, and then I just remember like literally running out of, I worked in this warehouse, which was a great job, unloading trucks and shit, but I just remember running out of there and just, I don't know. The weekend would go by in 2 seconds. By Monday, I was fucking broke. I had like I had no overhead or anything, and I would come in, I would just be absolutely broke. And so Monday, though, I would make the people laugh telling my stories from the weekend. That's how I'd get to lunch. And then I just limp through. But then Tuesday, Wednesday would just fucking kill me. So whatever. I'm just getting back to the point. If you have a drinking problem and you actually have a job, I completely understand it. Advocating alcoholism.
I don't have a drinking problem. I drink, I fall down. I drink, I get drunk, I fall down. Not a problem. No problem.
There you go.
I got to write that in my phone.
There you go. You should put that on a T-shirt. Hey, if you are into booze, there's a really good whiskey somebody turned me on to called Alibi. Have you tried it?
I've never tried it.
Oh my God.
I'm a whiskey person, whiskey and bourbon, but not Scotch. It's not Scotch whiskey, right?
I don't even know. All I know is a couple of ice cubes. It's
Alibi sounds like it wouldn't be Scotch. Alibi sounds like
it's a whiskey,
the kind
but
of stuff I like.
It's the perfect.
Write that down.
Yeah, if you just want to have a couple before you go to bed, it's like $30 for a bottle. Just tear through the thing. You're not worried about. Like when you actually buy something nice, you got to have like the it's got to be. Well, is this the right moment to open that bottle? And don't put any fucking ice cubes in there. This is just. I don't know. Everybody's drinking Makers. Everybody drinks Jack or whatever. It was just something different. Somebody got me, and I got a tour coming up, going through the South with some buddies of mine, and we're going to be on a bus, and I'm going to think of stocking it up. And here we go. I'm going to whore myself out. If the makers of Alibi would like to send us some whiskey. We'll talk about it on all our podcasts. There we go. That'll be like the end of me. So, all right. I'm jumping all over the place. I got to go MacGruber here.
Okay.
One of the funniest fucking movies of the last 4 or 5 years. Absolutely loved it. Paul Verzi, the buddy of mine who headliner, but every once in a while come around and open for me. He's the one who told me. He said, dude, he goes, you got to see this movie. He went to go see it with his 2 brothers, and he said he was like punching one of them and fucking grabbing the other one just watching it. And
that's so cool.
Oh my God, dude. I was watching clips of it this morning. I finally, I was so busy I had to refresh my memory and all that stuff because I forget movies the second I saw them. It's just like I don't know, I'm going to ruin this movie too, but just how you put together the whole, what it is, I grew up on those movies and they weren't trying to be funny.
No,
they were
we're
serious.
Roughly the same age, and the movies that we were like, this was our love letter to those movies that are the same movies that I watched. Uncommon Valor,
right?
Die Hard, obviously, and Lethal Weapon. All those. That the 80s was just the golden age of those.
And they just kept coming out with the guy. There was Stallone, and then Schwarzenegger. And then and what's his face was in there?
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson was in there. What's this guy? The guy with the red beard, Chuck Norris.
Oh, Chuck Norris,
the guy with the red beard, kicked me across the room.
Delta Force, right? Delta Force.
Yeah,
that was his, right?
The Missing in Action trilogy.
Yeah,
with Tex Cobb. I watched all of those. Then there was Jean-Claude Van Damme, and before him, was he before
Steven Seagal?
Steven Seagal.
I always have the two of those guys lumped together. No disrespect.
Do you know Judah Friedlander?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Judah will break down all of those movies, and he'll have you wanting to go. I remember one time I was going, what was that one where he was? They kept breaking everybody's arms and stuff like that. And he was just like, Marked for Death. He's like, great movie. I go, what was that one about? He goes, that was basically Steven Seagal beats up Jamaica. And he introduced, and he gives him credit. He goes, he introduced the breaking of bones into martial arts movies. Where before it was like people got knocked out, they got kicked, they got thrown across the fucking room, they went through walls. But he actually, like, I swear to God, that movie has like so many like Joe Theismann, like bone breaking. Yep. You got to like look away. But so I got to ask you, being a fan of
Roadhouse, also was a big one for us.
I was just going to ask you that beginning scene has to be an homage to use that when you're in your Miata and you put your stereo in and they show you putting your glasses on. It was that Roadhouse has that classic scene where Swayze gets in the car and they're showing the car. It's like dun 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 dun, and they're showing his car. And at one point, like they're showing all this cool shit about him. At one point, he takes out he's sliding a cassette tape into his stereo.
Oh my God! I don't. You know what? I have probably only seen Roadhouse once, maybe twice, and it was none of it was research for the show.
Oh, okay.
So these were all just, so if it was an unconscious homage, if it was any kind of homage, I mean, definitely, those are the movies we loved. But as with everything, my research consists of my tattered memories. I'm trying to remember.
I just love the whole philosophy behind Roadhouse, where it was just like this guy had this bar and he just couldn't keep it under control, and like Swayze's like this, like almost like a national headlining comic, but like he's a bouncer. Like, we got to get this guy in here to start beating the shit out of the worst. It's like, why don't you just call the cops?
Yeah,
get a metal detector. Maybe not overserve people. Like, why don't we start with the basics before you have to bring in like this ringer to come in? But I
want to watch Roadhouse again now. Now I'm excited to see it again.
Oh, dude, it's one of the great.
That's where I think the throat rip. Didn't they rip somebody's throat out in Roadhouse?
Did they?
I'm pretty sure that's.
I haven't seen it in a while. I just remember Swayze leaning against the wall, and the music was on, and rather than nodding his head down on the beat, he was doing this thing where he was nodding it up, which made it look even more. It's almost like he was saying hello to somebody across the bar. And it was just, so, I don't know. The guy's dead. I shouldn't be shitting on his movies, but I mean,
I feel like you're glorifying them. I love that movie.
We went too far in the other direction, though, because now I feel like every guy in so many of those movies, he doesn't know how to express himself. He's awkward. He's got his hoodie up. And I just, the whole, my wife calls it the man boy. The guy who's 35 but acts like he's on like a first date, like that whole thing.
Yeah.
I just feel like that was sort of that's the price we're paying for all of those, missing in action movies. Like, now it's going to go completely the other direction.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think how the hell they're going to mock those, like the next generation of people mocking like those types of movies that everybody grew up on. But I asked people on Twitter to send me some questions for you, and one of the overwhelming ones was, is there going to be the MacGruber Part 2?
Well, that's the plan. We've written about 2/3 of an outline.
Oh my God.
We a very in-depth outline, and we really like the stuff that's in there. We have to figure out it's more just scheduling stuff. Like we've been working on The Last Man on Earth. Me and John Solomon are two of the trio, and then Jorma Taccone, he's working on a movie right now. So it'll be a while. We're going to try to start writing.
How long does it take you
in
to
a week or something?
How long does it take to shoot?
It's MacGruber was like 27 days, 27 work days. So it was 5.5 weeks or something.
I just love when you blow up your whole crew. Like, what's funny about you is you go with the real reaction, like you do, but for a different thing. Like if you blew up your friends, you just drop to your knees, but you go like, oh no, 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 no. Like it was literally like a cat was peeing on something in your house that you were gonna, I don't know, wear that night. That's fucking killed me. All of that, like your facial expressions and all that type of shit.
Well, by the way, I don't even know if we have some information that there are a couple different people who might be willing to let us make the movie. So, but
how did you come up?
We won't know until we actually send in a script.
How did you come up with the celery bit in MacGruber? I need a distraction. And you just go like, all right, I'm going to get butt ass naked and stick a piece of celery between my ass.
I think we were just watching I know that Jorma and John watched a bunch of MacGyvers and while we were writing, and one of us would be writing and they'd be watching stuff and writing also, and they saw something in there where he had this table of things laid out and made it seem like he was about to use every element of that to cook up some kind of contraption.
Yeah.
And one of the things on there was a carrot. He said, all right, let's see what we got here. And then you cut to him eating the carrot. And It was just like he was hungry. And so for some reason it came from that. And originally it was going to be a carrot. And then we thought like, oh, well, that'll seem – it already wasn't – it was our own disgusting take on that. And it didn't really have anything – obviously MacGyver
never
never
that you did? So you just
butt.
strip down to nothing – behind something, you grab your junk and you stick celery and you just walk out in front of a camera crew. That's why when people go like, oh yeah, like doing stand-up, oh my God, they like take so much courage. It's like, dude, I walk out clothed, and if it goes wrong, I blame the crowd. I mean, it's easy. Like you got to.
The worst thing is my mom was there that day, and that wasn't even the worst thing. My mom was there, so we're at this warehouse, and I looked, I had done a couple takes, and I look over, and there's my mom, and she had two friends with her. So the friends were, my mom has kind of a pasted on smile. Like, that's my son. He's getting paid for this.
It's comedy. It's comedy.
$12,000. I made $12,000 from MacGruber.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And then her friends were just aghast.
These are all Northern California. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice people.
Wonderful people. And I think they're
well, at least they weren't there on the days when you were down on your knees going, I will suck your dick. I will let you fuck me.
My mom lost friends because my mom is the most supportive person in the world. And she brought several friends. My mom probably saw MacGruber 20 times in the theater just so she could bring different friends. And some of them are no longer her friends because of that movie.
Really? Yeah. Dude, Kristen Wiig, who's one of the funniest people ever. Playing your love interest there. And I loved the keyboard. So my favorite thing was when she whispered, I love you at the end of the song. But like your sex scenes, I mean, thank God your mom didn't show up that day when you went, hey.
Oh my God.
Like
Kristen was such a trooper. Because
how hard were you guys? Like I was thinking you could probably get like 0.8 seconds before you'd start laughing. Like how long did it take you to shoot that?
Thank you for using the term shoot.
Right.
It was like probably 2 hours in this upstairs bedroom. So we're in Albuquerque in the middle of the summer. It's already super hot everywhere. You have these lights burning you, and so this room is just an oven. And I am a sweater. If I get to a certain point, I start sweating and
certain
it doesn't
point
stop.
Of fake fucking, you start sweating.
Oh my God. like about 4 thrusts in, and I just started pelting her with like huge drops of sweat, and there's hair all over her. It was her birthday too, so it was just the worst birthday of all time.
Oh my God.
But they gave her a very special treat. Because we were in Albuquerque, so they like hooked her up with this special room in Santa Fe where she could go and shower off and get massages and get the memory of this experience out of her head.
Did you like, what sort of mindset? Because you know, I try to get these acting gigs or whatever every once in a while, and like my big thing is like having to, you know, the turning point for me where I finally actually started getting jobs is to not be self-conscious. Like someone like you seem a quiet, reserved kind of person, but like the characters you play and how hard you commit to them, like where do you like I'm just asking you, like as a, you know, potential actor to a great actor, like where do you go mentally before? Do you just walk in like, all right, fuck this, I gotta do you have to psych yourself up to go 100%? Are you one of those people like, all right, I'm this guy now, so all my hang-ups disappear?
You know what? I think it really is, if you believe in the thing, if you like what you're doing, it's really easy to fully commit. It's really hard when you think something is not good to do that.
Do you have any examples early on without outing anybody that wrote something? I know you seem like you don't want to shit on anybody, so
just different sketches at SNL. You know, when sometimes you would be asked to do somebody else's sketch, and you have no say in it, and or sometimes you would write your own little turd, and like you'd get out there and you go, oh, this is not good.
How does that work? How does it work?
I will say, sorry, go ahead.
It makes it through the gauntlet of all those people trying to get a sketch on.
Yeah,
it makes it past Lauren. It makes it past. They do like a little run through, right? Everybody's thinking it's funny. Now, when it goes out there, and when it just dies, is it?
Well, I mean, it's the funny thing is, like you like at the Groundlings, we do shows that are or I'm not there anymore, but when you sign up to do a show, you're doing the same show for about 3 months. You know, you have this process where you're getting the show together, and once you lock in the show, it's the same show. You know, four nights. You know, one show on Friday, 2 shows Saturday night. That same show for 3 months, and there are nights when everything kills, and there are nights that stuff just totally falls flat. So you just realize, oh, geez, it's the audience. It can be anything. So at SNL, you're just, you know, some nights it's definitely the material. Some nights you just have an audience that might be slightly older or slightly younger. Right. Or, you know, you never know. So sometimes you get really lucky, and sometimes you get really unlucky. Most of the time, you know, the stuff will get the shake that it deserves, but not always. And
what was your game plan? If you're doing if you're on live television, you're doing a sketch and it bombs. It's starting to bomb. Starting to bomb. You feel it bombing, and then do you have like a thing where you're like, you know, whatever, plow through this thing, or I'm going to commit even harder, or I'm going to try to make the other person in the scene laugh, or just some way to try to pull some sort of victory out of it, or do you just try to get through it and pretend it never happened?
I'm pretty good about maintaining the level of commitment. I'll never try to laugh. That's a little bit of a cheat.
Yeah, I never saw you break character.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of go into hyper focus. It's not even that I don't like. Sometimes I think stuff's really funny, and I just am concentrating on not screwing up. But like Bill Hader and I did this sketch with Josh Brolin called Fartface, and he just talked about it on Letterman.
See, I'm already into it.
I wish you were in the audience that night, because people hated it. I mean, it was.
How can you hate Fartface?
I know, right? And it wasn't just that. It's not like it wasn't gratuitous use of the. It was semi-gratuitous use of the term fartface, but it was a business setting, and these two very committed. This emotional scene between two guys. One of them's calling the other person a fartface, and it's hard to describe. Right. We did it at the dress rehearsal show to complete silence. It was almost so silent that it was a vacuum. We almost opened up some kind of
porthole.
Yeah. So, and we thought, oh, that's crazy. I liked it. I don't know. I don't know why that audience didn't like it, but we gave it our best. Gave it our best try. Anyway, we go up. What happens is you finish the dress rehearsal show. You wait about a half hour, then you go in to find out the pieces that are selected. Now, this was the night. It was during that 2008 election cycle, and Sarah Palin was actually there that night. Tina had already been doing her Sarah Palin. This was, I believe, the night that Sarah Palin herself actually came on too. So this was a big deal of a show for SNL. I think it ended up being the most watched SNL in
years.
Years and years. Anyway, we go in there and we see that Fartface is somehow in the show. It made it into the show. There were no laughs at all. So it was, I still, a real testament to Lauren, because it was, he thought it was funny, I guess. Oh, I remember the one note.
So what did you guys say to
Lauren
him?
goes through and he does different notes during the, it's like, oh, it's too, there was this, maybe you try to speed up this during this. And he goes through each sketch. And I just remember him coming to ours and he says, there's a boom shadow on Fartface. And that was it. And he goes on to the next thing. So we go out there, and it was just like we remembered the experience of no laughter at all.
Oh, so you're going out there going, fuck.
And wait, what was the deal? Bill, I didn't remember this, but Bill told this on Letterman. I think he said that Josh Brolin came out, and we were all sitting there. It was like we were going into battle, and Josh Brolin says, all right, let's go shut these motherfuckers up. Or something like that. I forget. It's something like that. And it was, and we did. We did. We went out there, but we gave it our all, all three of us. It was, I watched it, because when I heard Bill talk about it, I thought, I want to watch this again. We watched it, and I still stand by that sketch. It's funny. I don't know why. I don't know. We really committed to it. It's stupid for sure.
Right.
But I don't know. Some things
There's no way if I went out there, if I was with two other people and I'm doing something like Fartface and it's bombing, I think I would start laughing. I would, not laughing, it would just make me want to commit harder to it. And maybe stress Fartface or make a weird face at somebody, just something like, I got this weird thing where I kind of enjoy bombing a little bit.
Yeah.
Not if I'm really if I really believe in something, if I really think a joke's good and they're not laughing, then that gets frustrating. But if I still know I'm being funny, but it's bombing, that's one of my favorite things. I did a run through one time for this, yet another failed pilot. And they said they wanted something edgy, so we went super edgy, and I guess it was way beyond what the fuck they thought it was going to be. And so we start doing the run-through in front of the network guys. They come in, it feels like the AC's been fucking turned down even lower. And they come in, and just the first thing dies, the second thing dies, the next thing, and all of a sudden, these actors I'm working with got these looks on their faces, and then that became my motivation. That became my entertainment, was doing the scene and then passing other actors, and they were shooting me looks like going, oh my God, this is bombing. And it just became my entertainment. It was one of my favorite run-throughs I ever did. Dude, when I tell you from the beginning to the end, it was 22 minutes of silence. The thing started off.
I've been there.
Yeah, it started off with, why am I telling this? You don't know what it is. It started off with the guy playing my friend. A homeless guy comes up to us who they later said was way too homeless looking, way too dirty, way too filthy. He asked for money, and I'm the liberal, so I go to digging in my pocket to do it, to give him the money. And my brother, who's in a wheelchair, grabs a scoop of ice cream, calls him a scumbag, and flips it in his face, and it totally cut his beard and ended up in his hair. And I remember hearing an audible gasp from the network. They're oh, it was horrible. And it just immediately became, I was like, uh-oh, here we go. We got one more scene. If we don't get him in the next scene, this is a runaway train. And dude, we fucking bombed so bad. And I remember afterwards drinking with this guy, and we were both back at the hotel just laughing going, I'm getting fired. No, I'm getting fired or whatever. No, I don't know.
What stage was that? Was that like the early run through of the show, or was that the final?
No. This was. We were getting ready to shoot the pilot.
Okay,
and we were coming up on it, and I forget the name of the director, but he was rehearsing the hell out of it. So we were all like, I remember the night when we shot it. Yeah. They toned everything down, but like. This guy like rehearsed this so much. I was like, this is like maniacal, man. This is crazy. But I just remember the night when we finally went to shoot it, there was only a couple of pickups. So I totally understood the method of his madness. I just needed to do one episode with him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that was the last one because he was a great director. But at that point, it was just a run through. So we're already in there. There's nobody in the bleachers. There's no audience. There's no nothing.
Yeah.
And what's funny is they did the first scene, and usually the writers will sort of laugh along and try to prime.
Oh yeah,
to get the pump going.
There are some people who are writers who basically are only hired because they're good laughers.
Yeah, during run-throughs.
Yeah,
just to get people going. But I think when they audibly gasped and it bombed, and then it was just the sound of shoes walking on the floor over to the fake living room to like do the next thing. I think everybody was like, "Oh my god, this!" You just felt it in the air, and I think even the writers claimed they probably wanted to walk out. It was it's just the weirdest thing ever. It was one of my favorite things I ever got to be in.
Yeah,
that 22 minutes of just absolute utter.
If you're gonna bomb,
I can't even remember
hard,
in the end. I can't even remember in the end if there was even any clapping. I just remember this one actress face who was playing the mom. She kind of like, she did her line that bombed, and then I did my line that bombed. It was classic, like, sitcom movement of actors.
Yeah.
You say your thing, and then you walk out this door as somebody else walks in. You know, just that sort of like a play. And I just remember her walking past me, this fucking look on her face, like she had just seen a ghost. And I don't know. That's why I always like talking to you guys who came up through sketch, because I've always been a huge fan, and I just went the completely different, the isolated way. So
yeah, I mean, at least the thing about sketch that's really nice and reassuring is you're always out there with other people, and you're also usually playing a character. So if you have a reaction that's just horrible, you can blame it on the character. You don't have to blame it on yourself, which is what's really tough about how you do it is like when you bomb, it's, Bill Burr is bombing. They're not liking.
But the thing is,
the thing is, you don't bomb.
But oh yeah, I do, and I did for a long time. As you bomb, though, you have the option to just pull the ripcord and go into something else. Where you guys are just like, it's like you're getting in a bobsled, and you're just going down, you're picking up speed, going to this brick wall, and there's no brake, and you just have to slam into the thing. But you just brought up like doing characters, so I wanted, because I know you have this. Was it WonderCon you have to go to?
WonderCon.
I wanted to
whenever.
I wanted to ask you, like, what are your favorite characters? Do you have a favorite character that you do?
Favorite characters that I do?
Yeah, the most fun for you to do.
I love doing this character called Hamilton from SNL. I didn't do it that many times, but the funny thing is, it's kind of this, definitely a very odd, insensitive, racist, just a weirdo, and he
has this very weird voice like this, and he just says crazy things about society.
And it's so much fun to do this. And then Seth Meyers asked me to do the character at his rehearsal dinner. He asked me to give a toast as this guy, and it's one of the most fun things I've ever done. And then Andy Samberg's wedding was like 2 weeks later, and so he was at Seth's, and he said, "Oh, you got to come do one of those for me." So I've had so much fun.
How do you come up with those?
Doing that character? And I don't have an outlet to do stuff like that much anymore. How do I? It's late nights at SNL. Like you're.
How do you do like the little guys? Just as a comic, I'm so fascinated with the sketch guys. Like how you do the thing. I was watching when you were doing the Tim Calhoun character.
Oh, Tim Calhoun.
And when you were like running for president, I watched this clip this morning, and you were doing this thing with your fingers when you do like three with the left and then three with the right, and you were just saying all this horribly like offensive stuff, and you were speaking in like this whisper, but like you kind of captured like that, like when somebody runs for president, if they're making an annoying gesture.
Yeah.
Like they'll say, "Oh, don't do that. That seems rude." And then you can just see them like so as they're trying to give their speech, self-conscious about what to do with their hands. Like you like were picking up on that stuff, and that's one of those things.
Well, I got to give the credit on that. Like that's something I used to do at the Groundlings, and that's one of the things that I used as my audition piece because that was. But I had written this thing, and I was.
Can you do a little bit of Tim Calhoun? I don't want to put you on the spot. Do you remember how it went?
Remember all the words. I just remember.
I am Tim Calhoun. I am the president of the United States, or senator for the president of the United States of America. Here I'm sensitive. Here are some of the things I would do. America needs another big lake.
That's how I remember. That's the worst rendition of that. But I wrote it and I brought it in.
You were going to trade the Grand Canyon for the Eiffel Tower, and when they send us the Eiffel Tower, we're not going to give them the Grand Canyon.
The woman who was our director at the Groundlings, she was the one who told me to do something with my hands, and even gave me these specific instructions. So I had the sheepish look and the words. I'd written all that, but she gave me that, which is such an important element of it. So like that's one of the good things about sketch too, is it's you got this whole team of people around you who are helping to make everything better.
I don't know. I think you're one of the best, man, and I'm so happy for you that you were one of those guys. Like I didn't even bring up like Nebraska or all this. Like that's a drama that somebody won an Oscar in that, right?
It was nominated.
Shouldn't I have done any research in this? Hey, that movie did okay, right? I think somebody won something shiny.
No, it was nominated for a bunch. Bruce Dern was nominated. Alexander Payne was nominated for directing it. The film itself was nominated. June Squibb was nominated for supporting actress. It was I still can't believe I got to be a part of that.
Yeah, well, I've been obviously. I was going to say I've been watching you. That sounds creepy, but I've been a fan of your career. But you just seem like one of those guys where you actually have the career that I love. You're like. People know you, but you're not like sucked into that, Entertainment Tonight. Like tonight, coming out of Starbucks, we got Will Forte and some Uggs. Like you weren't in that, and I was just like watching. Like you said, this guy's making cool choices. Everything that he makes is of quality. Well,
Thank you. Jeez.
Whenever, and it's if you get in a fucking movie, you don't know what it's going to go up against, whether it works or not. But like you were just always like good in everything. So when this thing came out. I was thinking, oh my God, like such an original idea. Oh my God, Will Forte is going to be it. This is going to be, it exceeded expectations. But I got to give Fox props because way back in the day, they did a real, do you remember Get a Life with Chris Elliott?
Oh,
where he lived at home with his parents and he had a paper route and he was like in his 30s. And that was just, he lived in the attic and it was just so fucking weird. And so they do have a history of oh my God, of doing stuff like that.
So many of those old, like I remember when Fox was really young and yeah, that show Get a Life was so great. The Gary Shandling show. Oh my God.
Married with Children was the one that blew up.
Married with Children, Tracy Ullman show. All those shows were
Simpsons, and the Simpsons came out of that.
Yeah.
So, well, dude, they passed the baton to the right guy, man. Do you have anything that you want to promote before we wrap this thing up? Look at that. It's effortless hour here.
No, I mean, whatever. I just want to say thank you to Fox and thank you to Saturday Night Live, two of the great experiences of my life.
All right.
We talk about stuff and I go back and like I go like, God, I hope, I'll tell little stories about Saturday Night Live and I forget if I tell the part, which is like how appreciative I am to what an experience it was and like, to Lauren, none of this would be happening if it wasn't for him. So,
yeah,
what a great experience.
Well, dude, you've been crushing
That's my little kiss ass. That's the equivalent of me saying good night at the end of a party.
Oh.
It's still in there.
Well, listen, man, I am so psyched that you agreed to come on the podcast here. Continued success. I'm watching every episode. Anybody listening, if you haven't been watching Last Man on Earth, definitely go out and try to get caught up with it because it's really one of the most original things that I've seen on TV in a long time. It's absolutely hilarious. And congratulations to all your cast members: Christian Shaw, January Jones, Mel Rodriguez, who's crushing it. And that's it. Enjoy your time down at WonderCon, whatever the hell that is. And I hope to run into you soon. Tell Val Kilmer I said hello.
I will.
All right. That's it. That's the Thursday afternoon podcast, Monday morning podcast on Friday. All right. Go fuck yourselves. I'll talk to you on Monday.